Hello students. Today we're going to be talking about the four fundamental forces. It's always interesting to know. All of my career I have been an astrophysicist for almost 24 years. I taught astronomy for more than 19 years in the classroom. And nature never ceases to amaze me on how we could be talking about spirituality and healing and talking about chakras or even sun waves, and all of a sudden we start talking about energy and matter, how everything seems to be interlinked with each other. You might have heard, if you ever taken a physics or astronomy course, or if you ever heard some of the programs they have in television about the four fundamental forces. What are the four fundamental forces? You probably heard about gravity, right? Now modern science agrees that there are four fundamental forces that govern the activity of everything in our universe. And though they call them by their names, a strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, electromagnetic force, and gravitational force. By the way, if you study chemistry, you will also learn other little forces that act between particles. However, these four are related to the ancient elemental qualities of fire, water, earth, and air. So we're coming back to the four elements, or four elementals. They form the vehicles through which the alchemical three essentials operate. These elemental qualities and their mixtures form the vehicles through which the alchemical three essentials operate, and they are the clothing which we interpret as our physical reality. What are the three essentials, and what are the fundamental forces? I wanted to clarify this for you so you have a little bit of idea if you don't have a background in chemistry or physics. Pretty much, the strong force is something that binds to the nucleus. As you can see, we have a model of an atom. The first person to draw the model of an atom was by the name of Niels Bohr in 1958. The red and green dots are protons and neutrons, and they are seen to be to the center of the atom. Whether the little tiny black particles circling around, and obviously we're drawing here the orbit so you can see it, but normally this will be invisible, it will be the electrons. Now weak force are only existing in radioactive decay when particles are actually losing radioactive materials. And then of course we got gravity. When we're talking about gravitational force, which binds the solar system, for example, the Earth to the Sun, or you, right, towards this planet. So the gravitational force is acting on you also. Now strong nuclear force binds protons in atomic nuclei. So positively charged particles naturally repel each other. It takes an extreme amount of force to hold protons together. The strong nuclear force overcomes the repulsion between the protons to hold together atomic nuclei. Without the strong nuclear force, complex nuclei cannot form. Enormous energy is released as gamma rays and neutrinos when the strong nuclear force is broken between protons and neutrons. The law of gravity. You probably have seen this by Isaac Newton and the gravitational law, in which G is a constant, M and little m are the mass, in this case, of the Sun and the Earth, and then R square is the distance in between them, a square. This is the law of gravity that you probably studied in school. Now the electromagnetic force is a little bit more curious, At the beginning, until the late 1800s, we only knew that there was magnetic force, and then, of course, electricity. But what we didn't know is that that these two actually combine together, and they act as a magnet. So there you have it, the four fundamental forces: gravitation, electromagnetism, weak interaction of particles, and then a strong interaction. Now, what are the three essentials? The three essentials are the alchemical principles of sulfur, mercury, and salt. Again, these terms are not the common materials that we associate with these words, such as table salt or the mercury in your thermometer. They describe subtle philosophical principles active in nature. This is pretty much symbols that the ancient alchemists used to describe the kind of reactions and elements that they saw. Alchemical salt, or the body of a thing, provides the matrix wherein the sulfur and the mercury can act. It is a passive medium, the virgin earth, subject to the fixed energies of water and earth. The salt is influenced by psychic and instinctual forces of the subconscious, as well as conditions affecting various states of matter. The alchemical sulfur, or soul, of a thing conducts the volatile principles of fire and air, expressing consciousness, intellect, and the true will or personal fire. Finally, the alchemical mercury, or the spirit of a thing, is the vital force or life force, and predominates in the elements of air and water, reflecting intellectual, instinctual, and psychic energies. It forms the link or bridge between the higher forces of sulfur and the lower body of matter, the salt. In mythology, Mercury is the messenger between the world of the gods and the world of the mortals, the physical world. The energies of celestial nitre are often equated with the force of the Kundalini. This is a concept that I have learned by studying massage therapy and Chinese medicine. What is a Kundalini? A Kundalini is our internal spiritual force, according to Indian philosophy. In alchemy, this is referred to as the secret fire in man. The energies of celestial salt are equated with the force of prana, or life, vital energy, which is carried by the air we breathe and the food that we eat. If you have ever done yoga, you probably know about the Kundalini. It is said that when a person is born, the Kundalini, which goes on your back, the prana, is 3.5 times coiled around your back. And that when somebody dies, it's because their Kundalini has unraveled 3.5 times. As you can see in this picture of the Kundalini, you see the chakras from the root chakra to the crown chakra represented, which means that the Kundalini is balanced by the energies of the body and by prana, or the vital energy of the life force of that person. The prana is the primary energy distributed through the cosmos and is said to maintain physical life and existence. It acts as the instinctual and unconscious levels, as well as being influenced by cosmic cycles and other natural phenomena. The function of the Kundalini, or nitre, is to increase awareness of our true self and true will by lifting our consciousness and opening us to wider vistas of awareness. As you can see, the symbol of the rod of the staff is not a symbol that is something new. You can see this symbol in many medical schools, hospitals, or pharmacies. But this symbol has been in our history and civilization for more than 5,000 years. At the lowest level, of functioning, this is the self-centered ego. At its highest, we become aware of our divine nature. The effects of awakening this secret fire within constitute a true awakening into nature's mysteries. This is a direct experience of liberating interior knowledge. The physical body is also changed and improved in functioning, establishing a new center of balance on spiritual and physical levels. The Kundalini is a Sanskrit term from ancient India that identifies the arising of an energy and consciousness which has been coiled at the base of the spine since birth, and is the source of the life force, pranic energy, chi, bioenergy, that everybody knows. You might know this by different terms. Yogic science suggests that this energy triggers the formation of the child in the womb, and that then coils 3.5 times at the base of the spine to hold the energy field in stasis until we die, when it uncoils and returns to its source. We become awake on how nature operates when we're using the Kundalini and the chakras effectively. Our physical body also improves spiritually and physically through this process. The three essentials, then, are body, soul, and spirit. In alchemy, these three are the most important because they provide us a means of manipulating the elements. Some critics said that the primal elements are too subtle and that only nature can work at this level. The three essentials are the fruit of the elements which men can manipulate even at the physical level. The Polish alchemist Michael Boyes wrote in his New Chemical Light in 1600s, "The three principles of things are produced out of the four elements in the following manner. Nature, whose power is, in her obedience to the will of God, ordained from the very beginning that the four elements should incessantly act on one another, so in obedience to her behest, the fire began to act on air, and produced sulfur. Air acted on water, and produced mercury. Water, by its action on earth, produced salt. Earth alone, having nothing to act upon, did not produce anything, but became the nurse or womb of these three principles." In summary, the soul represents the body or vehicle and allows the expression of these other two essentials. It is a principle of fixity, consolidation, and focus. The matrix. The sulfur represents the soul, the consciousness. It is a fiery principle and brightness. The spiritualized male aspect of the one, Kundalini. The character of a thing, the true colors, the intelligence, the divine spark. The mercury represents the spirit, the vital force, the animating spirit, the chi or prana. It is a subtle, spiritualized feminine aspect of the one, pure energy. It breathes air and water elements, and the spiritual world and the material world, the volatile and the fixed. As you can see, in alchemy, we not only have to learn the laboratory and application of these elements in the laboratory part, sort of like chemistry, but also we need to learn what they meant to the alchemists when we were talking about the three essentials and the four elements. I hope that you enjoyed your lecture. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach me, as I know that some of these concepts, if you have never seen them before, they might be a little bit obscure. Keep an open mind and try to research more about what these elements mean. I see you in the next lecture.